Hello, hello. We are back here with the first game of our second series. Up here on the top right-hand corner, we have the pink Terran player from Team StimTL, which stands for something that it doesn't even stand for, just literally gibberish words, is Elky. And, of course, the action already beginning. See, from Chobo Team 6, y54, we have our forge-making player going for the pylons behind ye old mineral lines here. He's actually almost that supply depot could not be in, like, well, it's kind of odd. It's almost, it couldn't be in a worse place in terms of it will die because of where it is, but also it's blocking what could have been the location for a second cannon, so that's kind of interesting. He will go after that first pylon. Now going after the photon cannon itself. He's still a fair ways away. The bunker has finished, and he'll be able to do some work on the photon cannon, but I think he should have been going after the pylon to begin with, because that's kind of the linchpin to this whole thing. He will have to pick up and go to another base. I assume he will float to this one just off to the left of his main, although he's bringing the command center in a different direction than that. Is he intending? Oh, he's just attacking. He's got the bunker up in his opponent's base. I love this. The bunker up in his opponent's base. He's going to try and put a photon cannon down, and the SCVs are now in place. They're going to be going after the photon cannon, trying to stop that. The SCVs will be swarming over the probes, although some of them are attacking the forge. Instead of that, two of them still are. The Reaper here, though, is obviously well defended by these SCVs that probably actually just want to hold position, if I'm honest. A Marine is now out there to join the force as well, and this is a pretty strong counter to what has happened here. Just continuing on, the command center being attacked by a probe mercilessly. The Reaper going to town on the remaining probes, and he's got basically none left. He's got just 2 supply left on the map. Let's find out where these suckers are. He's got 1 probe attacking an extractor, another one attacking the command center, and it is GG54. We'll have to tap out. Elky does take a very fast game 1. Quite handily. It is StimTL's Elky. And his opponent, who made a gateway first this time, it is going to be from Team Chobo, or Chobo Team 6. It is y54. So many numbers in this guy's name and random letters. I'm pretty sure he's one of the sponsors of Sesame Street. He is sending a probe off to the side here. Possibly for more potential sneakiness, is going for 2 gases, so it won't stun me if there ends up being a Stargate in that exact location. In fact, to the point that it would shock me if there was not going to be a Stargate in that exact location. The Cyber Core is going down. Our Terran player is aware of the timing of these gases. He'll get to see how many probes are put in it, and I guess 7. He will pull one off there. This time going for the reactor right away, and actually has the barracks completely rallied straight forward, so could be looking for a little aggression early on and then getting a factory right behind this. No actual units started yet. There we go. Marines just on their way out here now, and the pylon going down in the back behind Elky's base. We get the SCV patrolling in the natural of our Protoss player, so he's going to have a sense of what the timing on that natural is, and if he pokes his head back up, he would see that Warp Gate is not even researching, which would be a pretty big tell of what's potentially going on. The mothership core is out, and obviously the Stargate is on its way. 4 Marines, though, are already out. He will pick up, I was going to say, if he did 2 more, then he'd have basically the perfect amount to stop this Oracle. That is inevitably going to be coming out of that, but he'll still have time to make 1 or 2 more if he, in fact, chooses to. He's grabbing a couple of Hellions here now and not actually producing more in terms of Marines, so he's still got a tiny bit of time left. But with the mothership core as the only attacking unit that he has at home, it's going to take quite a while to finish off this engineering bay. The Stalker is coming out now to join along with that, and we've got our Oracle well on the way, rallied obviously right towards the mineral line. Where are our Marines? They are unfortunately halfway across the map. And this could be interesting too. He'll end up obviously with an Oracle running right into his mineral line, which he now sees. We'll be going to town on these SCVs. The Marines are completely out of place, but there are 4 of them now across the map. And these Hellions, I think he's just kind of run across the map with everything again and say, okay, screw you. You once again have attacked potentially without defending yourself. He's still deciding, I think, what to do here. The Marines have come all the way back. A medevac is now out. More Marines are being produced. He's definitely losing a lot of mining time here, but yeah, I'm not sure exactly what he's going for. He has to pick up the Oracle does come back in. He didn't actually bring the Marines back into the mineral line itself. Widowmine will burrow and get killed before it can actually get down into the ground. A mule being picked off here. More SCVs being taken out. And 2 Oracles still just kind of running around, and 2 of them do take a fair number of Marines to actually kill off. The Hellions, though, now in the base of the Protoss player and are going to be going to work on these probes, getting a decent number there. Photon overcharge going off, but everything is kind of lined up here for the Protoss, and he's losing a ton of probes to this before he can deal with these, and so many are going down. We have a total of 16 workers killed on one side, 18 killed on the other. The Oracle simultaneously going down to 2 Widowmines. That was beautiful. Both people just absolutely in dire straits. We've got 6 SCVs left, only 9 probes are left alive. A robotics facility is just finishing up here for our Protoss player, or else he would really be at a loss to deal with these Widowmines, but I think he'll be able to hold off at least this Stalker. Well, that's not where you want to fly the medevac. With the Widowmine hits, that will be able to hold off the Terran for the time being, I think. He will probably want to be repairing this supply depot, or he's just going to outright attack with SCVs. Trying to get a bunker actually up and going. He's going to pull that Widowmine out down into the front here again. I think he'll be able to hold here. There's not going to be that much offense, and there's no way to deal with the Widowmines just yet. And they're going to do a whole lot of damage here. As the bunker goes up, I think the Stalkers are going to have to just get out, particularly since there's 2 of them now, as opposed to a good number. But he will take out at least another SCV, potentially another, yep, decent kiting here. The Marines just taking a long time to actually do the damage they need to do. The Widowmine coming back as things clear out, wants to repair this depot, will save it just in time, and eventually goes back to mining at least a tiny bit. But yeah, very low economy game for both players at the moment. Only 13 probes are alive. He will be able to chrono boost a lot of those out. Has a lot of chrono actually saved up here. A observer is now out to help along with the Widowmine situation. There is a probe up by the Stargate, which is now getting a void ray out. That's kind of neat. to be doing, but there are a decent number of Marines, and Void Ray is not really actually great against Marines. They don't get any bonus or anything against them, so not what I would call cost efficient against what are going to end up being 6 or 8 Marines by the time that can get there. We'll see how quickly he does react, though. The the Observer actually in place a spot for Widow Mines, so he knows that he's at least got a clean path for the time being. I've got to imagine that a Void Ray at this point is going to be a little bit of a surprise. So we'll see how he does develop. At this point, our Protoss player back up to a slightly healthy 20 probes at least. Not great for like the 13-minute mark of a game, but obviously good given the situation. And I think we've got Elky moving on out again at potentially a time that he's going to want to be at home. A Oracle and a Void Ray will soon be sweeping into the mineral line here for our Terran player. The engineering bay just underway. This is going to basically take him out. He's going to lose a lot here. The engineering bay is stopped. The Oracle going after these SCVs. He actually pulls it back, though, and he's going to end up wasting all his energy that he had. The Terran has pulled his forces actually all the way back to the base, but he didn't lose that many more SCVs here. Is he going to be able to bait him into... No. He's just going to take out a Widow Mine. The Marines are now back, and we'll drive them away. Didn't really lose too many more workers in that, but still not great, obviously, to lose that much mining time yet again. The Observer now chasing down these Marines. He's not going to want to blow a scan. He probably sees it, but he doesn't want to blow what could be a mule to help him get back into this by doing anything there. Nice. The obviously turret providing detection for the Observer itself and able to take that out. He's going to swing around, obviously figures out that there must be a Stargate over here, and we'll just decide to go after that. There's going to be no way that Y54 can stop him at this point, but I kind of think the Stargate has more than done its job. We'll just leave it alive, but depowered for the moment. It's going to be hard for the Void Ray or Oracle to come back in now that there is a tower in place, or a turret in place. Elky really trying to get his minerals back up and going, not mining gas. On the flip side, I almost think Y54 is over mining gas a bit for how much his mineral income will be, although we can see that spike up probably quite shortly as the Nexus does finish here, and Elky is moving in with his main forces. One thing Y54 has definitely been skimping on is really his home defense. He's still got the photon overcharge, actually enough energy for 2 of them, however, so he could definitely hold a fair bit off here. There's a cannon up front as well, so it could take a fair bit before that's dealt with. Cannon will go down. He could just try and target down the Nexus straight up, though. I think he's going to opt to just run into the main. Stutter stepping his way in. We'll be taking out these stalkers. The photon overcharge now going off in both locations as reinforcements. A few SCVs do come in. The Hellions going after the probes. He's going to end up losing this army, but given that it's an all-mineral army, this may have ended up being cost-efficient, but it's still a kind of a main fighting force here. 23 workers to 22 workers killed so far in this game. I wonder if he could have kind of waited it out in a corner and then gone after, although the Colossus would have been out by the time the photon overcharge on the low ground had actually expired, so may not have been an option. And with the Colossus second one coming on the way, range now on the way as well, he's now consuming that gas that he had stockpiled here a bit. Elky is going to have to start getting more gas of his own. He's probably going to be wanting a couple more couple more medevacs before switching into Vikings to deal with the Colossus that he's now aware of as a threat. But weird game so far. Obviously, really low economy. Probe count, worker count in general, really in favor of y54 right now compared to Elky, but you can never underestimate the power of 2CCs producing mules, as they can really make up for a lot of that gap. We'll finally go over and take out this Stargate. These units, the Void Ray and the Oracle, still just kind of alive and hanging there in the air. As he does clear that up, the Observer coming in to take a look at what's going on. There is a turret in place, but I think he's going to avoid that carefully. The awesome Void Ray coming in to try and use its charge against the engineering bay, apparently, which had been being repaired, but now is not. He's actually going to come and drop underneath it. And will actually lose it there. He kind of tempted him into staying longer by making him think that he could kill the medevac, but didn't actually have the ability to do so. That will now be fully repaired and at the cost of the Void Ray, but really, other than bring it back into your main army, which of course was an option, that Void Ray wasn't going to do a whole lot more than he just did. In a sense, again, prevented some mining time there and forced a repair on both the medevac and the engineering bay, which of course is going to cost you a little bit of something. It looks like our Protoss going for a third base here as well. The Observer in a pretty good position to get some sense of what is going on. I don't know how much of that he can see of the push out here, but it seems like our Terran may be looking to move into a spot of getting his own third down. I'm not quite sure yet. He's dancing around a little bit here. Raven is out for our Terran as well, and actually getting a Banshee, which is kind of interesting. He could be looking for some sort of, well, we'll see if he gets cloak or anything with it, but he could be looking for some sort of play where he's picking off observers in order to allow a cloak Banshee or two to get a lot done. 3 Colossus are out. It's going to be hard for the Marines to get really close to this army, but there's actually no Immortals with this either. And I don't believe he has, no charge done or anything like that. So these Zealots are going to have not the best time closing the gap. But with 4 Colossus, Marines are just going to melt underneath this. The bunkers on the low ground kind of trays interesting. Forces a weird engagement here against these tanks. The tank's getting a lot done. He may have to withdraw from this, but I kind of feel like he killed a lot of gateway units. He's just staying too late, and Elky does just tap out there, right? Alrighty, we are back here for yet another game number 3. We've got y54 out with a rather quick scout yet again. I mean, not super quick, but definitely not waiting. Wants to get a sense of what's going on in Elky's base. We'll get to see the timing of this refinery. So down on the bottom right-hand side, we do have from Team StimTL. He is our pink Terran player, Elky. And up here on the top left-hand side, player who just took game number 2, it is from Chobo Team 6, y54. And really standard opening, obviously, for Protoss here. This is pretty much what you're going to see every game that someone is not cannon rushing. And the SCV will get in to take a peek at what's going on. Actually, we'll see that the assimilator's done, but nothing's mining from it yet. He will pull guys over now to go for it. And Elky will actually steal the second gas from his opponent. I think seeing that the gateway was not constructing anything, and potentially seeing that the assimilator hadn't actually started mining or anything, Elky does decide to take that. He gets just 100 gas on his own, and then pulls guys back onto minerals, now putting them back over onto gas. So just trying to opt for the specific amount to get that Reaper out, get the reactor actually going here. Y54 gets his Nexus up as well. Terran can be really annoying in taking the gas and engineer blocking the Nexus at the same time. It's a lot bigger investment, obviously, on their part, but it makes it so that if you're just getting a single stalker out, it takes forever to actually kill both things off, and you don't actually kill them, they just cancel it. So it can be really annoying for the Protoss to deal with if you do opt to do it. In this case, he does not. The refinery will be taken out here shortly. Will he throw the cancel? There it goes. And a forge going off in the back of Y54's base. And warp gate obviously underway. We've got the bunker under construction here, right next to the Nexus. It does finish. The Zealot is actually going to work on the bunker, but the Reaper's saying, I don't actually need the bunker if you're just going to let me kill 3 probes in your main. So he does actually have 5 total kills. One was the scouting the scouting probe on the other side. Oh, does die, though. Doesn't quite actually get out of there. But still, for a single Reaper, 5 probes that early is definitely worth throwing that bunker down as, I guess, a bit of a distraction. I'm sure that wasn't the plan, but that's the way it worked out. 2 more barracks are coming down for Elky here on top of that reactor he already has. The command center is done converting to an orbital here now. And it looks like he's going to take a good handful of Marines with 3 SCVs up onto his opponent's side of the map. The Stalkers coming in the other direction, if they're not paying attention, are going to engage fairly poorly here. The SCVs pulling themselves back. They want to keep themselves alive. I think he's kind of considering, again, some sort of bunker rush, but now that, I mean, not really a rush, it's 7 minutes, but he does force these extra 2 photon cannons out of Y54 as he kind of thinks he may not have enough to defend that. But as he gets seen, the Terran does just pull back onto his own side of the map. The SCVs, I don't think Elky knows that SCVs are for mining. It's in the game so far, the SCVs have spent less time mining than any other task. He has finished his second gas up here now. But yeah, the total count that are actually mining anything is actually quite low. He will go grab these 2 sensor towers, or Zelnaga towers, I guess. One with 2 SCVs, because, I don't know, he gets lonely or something like that. He will blow down these rocks here, and is now working on both stem and concussive shell. It looked on the mini-map as if Protoss was attacking the rocks as well, but of course he's not. Instead, throwing a robotics facility down on the low ground, working on +1 ground armor. Just now, he's actually had the forge up for quite some time, but just now starting that. Pretty full chrono boosts available on his Nexi, so he could definitely be powering those out a little bit more. The SCV scouting out in front wants to see what may or may not be coming down the ramp there. And our Terran taking a little bit more of an aggressive posture yet again. Stimpack is still about just under a minute left, and he's going to be pulling back, of course, as he saw something poke down. I get the feeling that he really wants to launch an attack. He wants to be in a position to do that, but he definitely does not want the troop count that he currently has to be spotted at the moment. Stim is getting closer to done as combat shields are on their way as well. as is +1 attack about halfway through. 2 more barracks are coming down, but also the command center. So he's looking obviously to hit some sort of really strong attack here shortly. It may get spotted by this observer coming over, which I think is going to land directly on these in front of these troops. A turret going up, but a little late to prevent this from being spotted as the observer pulls off to the side. And we got actually 2 more observers coming out. So y54 definitely valuing the information that he can get out of those, knows how important scouting is in this situation. I get the feeling that he's been kind of struggling to figure out what Elky is actually thinking or doing this game. There's been so many little kind of moves forward, but not actually ever pokes or attacks on anything. Stalkers moving out onto the map. Elky does scan to try and see what's going on here, what the composition actually is, and only seeing gateway units at the time. Blink is about halfway done, and the robotics bay is about halfway done itself. So obviously looking for that switch back into Colossus here again. There could be a bit of a window for Elky to do some direct attacking. We'll have to see what he does do with that. He's pulling a bunch of SCVs, but they are just going down to the low ground, I guess, to get ready for this command center. Definitely not a pull the boys type situation, but they're actually going to bring him all the way back, and I don't think he's, I don't know what he's doing. But anyway, they'll be there. We'll take down these destructible rock tower to collapse it. And I keep waiting for Elky to kind of show signs that he wants to launch some sort of attack before the Colossus really get out onto the map. And I think he's going to get there right at the time. He keeps turning back, though. So I'm not sure. Sends up another Marine. He wants to get a sense of what's actually going on. Sees that there are a decent number of stalkers out front. Charge is now on the way, but still a fair bit off for our Protoss player, throwing down more gateways. On top of everything, we've got +2 ground armor coming out as well, and I kind of get the impression that Elky's just going to be sitting for a while. He's kind of past the period to make some sort of bum rush attack just up the ramp and try and power down the Nexus or power down the army. Instead, he will be adding on Vikings, actually double pumping them out of the starports here, getting 4 at a time onto the map. Obviously looking to deal with the Colossus. A drop going and completely picked off there really did nothing there, as it was spotted by this well-placed observer over on the right-hand side behind the potential third base there. Third base, of course, up and running for Elky. Running quite well here. He does have an overall supply lead. He's been throwing down these call-down supplies a fair bit. At least 3 of them. That's a bit too much. That's something that obviously you want to avoid doing, but I guess in a pinch it's better than actually getting supply blocked. It's just obviously not usually the plan to go ahead and do that. More barracks being added on for Elky. Definitely a really healthy count of those, and given the economy that he has going on here, about 50% probably ahead of his opponent on minerals, and maybe 20-ish% on the gas, as he's only really just now got the 2 mining there. That should actually spike up a little bit as the second one gets fully staffed. But going on mech weapons now, both air and ground, to help the Viking fleet out. And he continues to make those. The medevac count is a bit low with only 3. He's obviously prioritizing the Vikings over top of everything. Given that he has such a heavy Marauder army, this may not be a bad idea. You've got a little bit more of tank to him to begin with, and instead of kind of having the durability, I think he definitely wants to power the Colossus down. If he can kill the Colossus, the medevacs or not, he's going to be able to kill off a gateway army with a primarily Marauder heavy army. you can afford to stem those a few times, definitely. Scans going off to see whether or not a third base has been taken in either location. One is just about to complete there. The observer, again, is going to catch this entire army moving out, and he's got a sense of everything that's going on here. The Protoss is going to move into a great position. Terran, of course, all over that, knows what is going on, and he may end up putting him to a decision here. Where do you want to stand? Where do you want to be? He's did a little pickup. I don't know if that was an accident or he was actually thinking of doing something with that. Waiting for the Vikings to come in. There's 9 of them. Pretty decent for only 2 Colossus. Actually, I'm a little surprised at this game he stopped at 2. The Vikings coming in, trying to use that empty space. The blink going off from the Stalkers, though, it's going to be hard for them to really come on in. Free sentry, he'll take it. And upgrades here, I guess we're at 0-2 versus 1-1, so reasonably fair, but +3 armor is about to finish for our Protoss player. That really does make a big difference in the grand scheme of things. But if there was a direct engagement, I think if our Terran player had to run up a ramp right now, I kind of get the impression would be slaughtered by the fact that there's Colossus for a little bit, and he would get stormed a lot, plus there's a lot of charge lots here. However, I also don't get the impression that our Protoss can safely move across the map at the moment, and I think he's at least in a position where that's what he's looking to do. And our Terran is just working on his 4th and 5th command centers, and maybe looking to catch, it catches these Colossus completely out in the open, one of them going down completely for free, but he could get blunk on and end up losing a lot of these Vikings. But then his main army coming in, and I think maybe in a good position. Huge storms going off there, though, as he catches everything in a choke. And our Terran may be looking to drive his opponent right back up a ramp, taking storms as he goes forward, though, and I think he's a little too weak to continue on with this. He's got to get out. This red force cannot fight, and he's got to back completely out. He's lost at least twice as much as his opponent has, and he's now just flying everything over the Stalkers, which have blink. He has to reassemble somewhere, but he lost so much in that engagement that he did not have to. I don't think that there's a recovery at this point. There are no storms left, but there's way too many charge lots here for him to actually stand against, I think, at this point. He's going to definitely have to pick up this base. And he's pulling back up the top of the ramp. It would be in his best interest if the Protoss just decides not to attack. Because I think if he does attack right now, he's screwed. I think the Protoss could definitely just make the killer push up into everything. One thing working in his advantage is, despite all the observers that exist, there is none with the army, and Widow Mines definitely are good against this sort of thing. As we see a good number of hits going off here. The Ghosts in the right place at the right time to weaken that army up and just make them think twice about coming up the ramp. I really almost get the impression they still could, though. The Terran army here is just not that big. But a lot of the bulk for the Protoss player is in Stalkers, which aren't great. They're good all-around units, but they're not that great. And the Zealots, which, going up a ramp into a lot of buildings, get really confused. The Zealots will just, no matter how good your micro is, they're going to end up attacking things you didn't want them to, because they will just charge like idiots at the first thing they see. And particularly with the Widow Mines here as well, which are now just rising in number, that would be a hard one to attack. He's just going to bum rush here. Will he be able to just pull his opponent back? Really good hits going off. Does end up cleaning up the army. The Ghost here. Will he catch everything coming down a ramp in a really bad position? Storms going off here. He does split out of these. These Zealots are not really there, though, anymore. And a lot of this army is going to win, but it's not cost efficient in how it is actually winning. and our Terran is charging on forward. They will retreat back up the ramp. There's a little bit of a bunker there. That usually doesn't matter at this point in the game, but he's definitely being a lot more cost efficient here now, as he is pounding down the really expensive army compared to his almost mineral-only army. And again, we can see kind of the dumbness of Zealots just attacking whatever. The Stalkers are going to have to probably blink out. I don't think he wants to commit too much more to this. Yeah, particularly as these come in. Really nice hits out of those two Widow Mines. They will get cleaned up, but I think they've been cost efficient anyway, as he will be able to clean up this attack and actually kind of reset things. The Harvester count did dwindle there a lot for our Terran player, but he's got a lot of mules saved up from all this energy on the orbitals. So if he can get that 5th base back down, then he's going to be looking good. But 3 Colossus, I feel like coming out of nowhere. There was only one like a little bit ago, and all of a sudden this is the number that he's got. Obviously no more Vikings have been rebuilt, and Elky does tap out. GG there. The 3